in the pot with the applesauce in than they did with just water in. Now, take our area, make it clean, bring the jars over here. Here's another handy dandy tool I got along with many years without, but it also comes from Ball. It keeps the rims clean. They are so slick. Now, take a scoop, and you can use measuring cups of all sorts and sizes. This ladle came from a feed store, believe it or not, and I like it. It works slick. Like I said, I got by for years without this special funnel, and I'm sure you can too. Jars. A lot of these jars came from my husband's grandmother's basement. Some of them came from the grocery store. Some of them came from an old house we bought and refurbished once long ago. You do not need to buy new jars, but if you use old jars, you have to check carefully for cracks. And that one looked like it was too full, but it was not. This is how you do it without the funnel. As you can see, it's hard on the hands. It makes a mess on the lid. Use a clean paper towel to clean the edges so that you'll get a good seal. Here's a ruler. You need 1/2 inch of head space. Head space means the distance from between the top of the jar and where the sauce or the canning material, this whatever you're canning, ends. 1/2 inch is about to the low point on this center ring. Another handy dandy tool my daughter came up with from Ball. This shows this notch 1/2 inch. You can see I need a little more sauce in each of these if I'm going to be really technically correct. That one's perfect. Take a wet towel, or a clean paper towel, wipe the rims off, make sure there is nothing on the rim that's going to keep you from making a good seal. Seals are what keep the bacteria out. Huh? rings are tight. Okay. Now what I did was I took the water out of that other canner, cleaned this out. And the other one was too small, too short. The little canner was too short to put all the jars in and cover. Put the jars in the canner. It's important that the jars not bump around too much, because they will break each other if they crash into each other while they're boiling. And they need to kind of be touching so they're not juggling all around. You can see that's going to be a problem here. This is going to float. So we can't really can that jar. What we need is a spacer. I got this old herring jar that I inherited from someone somewhere along the way. It also makes a terrific spacer. Keeps the jars from banging into each other. Out of the other canner, put it back in this. Now we've got an inch of water over the lids. That should do it. At our altitude, it's going to need to boil for another 35 minutes. If you live at 1,000 feet or below, it'll just be 20 minutes. You probably need to check with your extension office or front of the ball canning book to see how much time you need to process it for. I'm going to put the lid on, turn the temperature down, and turn the timer on. Our time's up. Water's still boiling. Now, for the 100 years that I've been doing this, I use the hot dog tongs. And a hot pad. Sorry, where did it go? Hot pad to take the jars out. As you can see, it's not a lot of fun. And that burned many fingers. Make sure you have something on your counter that can handle the heat to put the hot jars on. They can handle both the heat and the wet. Formica will burn if you put hot things on it, and it will not clean up. In a couple of hours, you'll start hearing the jars pop, making this sound as the air pressure from the heat changes. It sucks the lid in and seals it down tight. You will know when you've got a good seal if you touch it and it doesn't make that sound. Here's a jar canned some time ago. Push down on the lid and it makes no sound. When it does that, it's sealed. You should probably wait 24 hours before you remove the ring and label the lid. It's really important that you label the jar somewhere so you don't have a jar sitting on the shelf some 5 years from now that you don't know when it's from. They recommend you eat your canned produce within a year. It's not necessary to be strict about it, but it's probably a good idea. So make sure you put on the label, put what it was and when you canned it.